Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis. In this video, we're going to be installing NetBSD 9.2 that was released on May the 12th, 2021. Alright, it's set up in my virtual box. I've given it 8 gigabytes of RAM, 2 cores of my processor. I turned the video memory all the way up, and I allocated a 72 gigabyte hard drive. Let's get started. Let's take it to get set up here. Control C to get us in scaled mode. I'll try to keep this toward the middle of the screen. And while this is booting up, I just want to say I've been looking at the BSDs here recently, as everybody that watches knows. And NetBSD is a unique OS, and it's got limited resources available for the typical desktop environment for the typical end user. And it'll definitely be a process to get a desktop environment set up with all the bells and whistles that you might come to expect from a normal graphical desktop. So figure out what you want to do with your operating system before you consider a NetBSD. And second thing, make sure that all the packages or software that you might want or need, tools, etc., are available. For example, in the repositories, I don't think Simple Screen Recorder or SSR is available. We'll look if I remember when we get started. But let's get back on the installation here. First screen is going to prompt us to select installation language, and when I'm going to select English by default there, enter. And I am going to move it to U at the keyboard to US English. We're going to install NetBSD to the hard drive. Wants to know, are we sure? Because we're going to have to go through these steps: partitioning the disk, creating BSD file systems, load and install distribution sets, and some other system configuration. And we're going to say yes. That is correctly selected the virtual hard drive, WD0, 72 gigs. Press enter. We're going to use the master boot record since I've booted into legacy mode. All right. And the geometry, that looks correct. Not going to edit the master partition table, but we are going to use the entire disk. And we're going to set the size of the partitions, and the reason is I'm going to go to the swap, arrow down once and hit it for the swap space. We'll give it 12,288 megabytes, and that's the equivalent of 12 gigabytes. All right, now we're good. So we're going to go to there. Partition sizes are okay now, so we got a 12 gigabyte swap. Okay, one more time to back out. Shall we continue? Yes. All right, we're going to use the BIOS console. We're going to get full installation with including the X11 or Xorg stuff. The ISO is it's reading it as being on the CD-ROM drive because that's the way I loaded it up in the virtual box. I'm going to hit enter, and the installation has begun. Let me capture my mouse. That'll take just a minute here. Selected a disk, approved the geometry, used the entire disk. We changed the partition size to 12 gig to the swap. Disk layout, final approval, select the BIOS, installation, full type. That's what we're doing right now. Press enter, complete system. Now the next thing is going to be configuring this system. And for some reason, another difference with NetBSD, and in every other operating system, I've been able to clone it without any problems. So with NetBSD, once I get the base install in and then I clone it, it won't boot. So the original will, but the clone will not boot. So I don't know what's going on there. But back to our installation, we're going to hit press enter to continue. It says it's the selected sets. Now we got to configure the system. And we're going to go to the network. And in my virtual box, WM0 is right. We're going to select auto configuration. Now it's going to acquire IP address, and we should see the active when it gets finished here. domain name, and we do have an IP address. Everything's okay. I'm going to press enter. And if the network information you entered is accurate, press yes. All right, now we're going to do the time zone. I'm going to slide down once to America, and I'm going to use the page down twice to get me to Chicago. All right, and we can exit that. Root shell is fine with SH. If you have a preference, though, you can change that here. We're going to put in a empty or replace an empty password. Now I'm going to use my typical password, and watch. It's going to say, please enter a longer password, but I'm going to re-enter that password, and I'm going to re-enter it again, and it accepts it. So it's a warning, but it allows you to keep going. But if you didn't know that, you would change your password. All right, so we're going to enable some installation of binary packages. Just going to accept the defaults there and say update, download, install, and update. Running -y update, press enter to continue. Now we're going to go fetch and unpack the PKG SRC files. We're going to say fetch them, just accept the defaults there. Now on the one before, you could have added some different software, but I hadn't experimented with that to see how well it works or if it'll throw the installation off. I was going to tell about this NetBSD thing here, but I'll wait till we get there. It's not going to take but a second here. This primarily depends on your internet connection speed. And I'm on a Wi-Fi, so it's not the fastest. All right. Okay, now enable SH. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot here. Get back over there. All right, so we fetched and unpacked the PKG SRC files. Now we're going to enable SSHD. I'm going to press enter. We're going to enable the NTPD by pressing enter. Highlight NTP date at boot. Highlight, enter. Now the MDSND, recapture my mouse. That is also known as the MDNS responder on some systems. It's a daemon or a startup program invoked at boot time to implement the multicast DNS and DNS service discovery on a Mac OS. Snow Leopard, I guess, is the version. MDNSD is also the system-wide unicast DNS resolver. MDNSD listens up on UDP port 5353. Let me get back over here, and I am going to enable that because multicast is important. I'm not going to use their login manager. I am going to use Sshd. I'm not going to enable LVM. Enable RAID frame is enabled by default. Time to add a user. We're going to add this user to the group wheel. We're going to use the same bash shell, sh. We're going to give it a password and run into the same situation there. It will accept it. So we're finished. That's complete configuration. Press enter. Enter to continue. Now we're going to go back to we're going to reboot the computer. And I'm going to turn it off, power it off. Notice when you hit the power button or the X button that this operation stops or pauses. So it don't like that command. There we go. Power off the machine. Back to my virtual box. Go to my settings. System. Move the hard disk up. And we'll take the ISO out in a minute here. Once I get out of scaled mode. All right, so we're booting into our base system at this point. First thing we're going to do is run a package upgrade. Here's your commands: pkgn, update, upgrade, install, delete, or search. And first thing you should do on any operating system the first time you boot is check for update. So I'm going to sign in as a user to make sure it works. Give it my password that it said was too little. And I'm going to ping. Make sure we're online. Control C will stop that. Control L will clear the screen. Now we're going to sign in as root or super user. Give it my password. And then we're going to say pkgn update. And we're going to up arrow that back, backspace everything off except for that up. Place it with grade. All right. So here's a situation that you might find yourself in. PKGN upgrade the empty non-auto removable package list. And somebody there are aware of it because they've run across this themselves. And here's the link for the error, and you can read it for yourself, and I'll make sure it gets in here. But it says type in PKGN space -V. All right. Now we're going to bring that back and replace that V with an F space -YNINR sync. Hopefully this will work. All right. Now when this is done, it's apparently working. When this is done, we're going to run that PKG upgrade again. You can see it did a lot of stuff there. So see if I can just up arrow the upgrade. And there's nothing to do. So it is up to date. But that did work. We're going to get ready to install pkgn install. And I got a whole list of stuff here you can see. So I'm going to just probably pause the video at this point, and I'll come back just before I press enter. Okay, I'm just about ready to hit enter here. I think I've got them all spelt right. You can see it's quite a list of stuff. That's what I was referring to in the very beginning. NetBSD is going to leave a lot of this up to you. And I'm sure there's a lot more stuff that I will get, but this is stuff that's missing that you're going to need, like Thunar, the file manager, NeoFetch and CMatrix. That's trivial. Xfce4 task manager does not come in unless you install it. The Whisker menu plugin, we're going to get that. XF burn will not come in. Xfce4 extras though, that's nice. HTOP, Firefox, Qubit torrent, KPAT, that's KPatience for card games, VLC, LibreOffice, K3B, DD Rescue, Audacious plugins, libisoburn, Xfce4 Thunar archive plugin, USB util singular, libntfs, Xfce4 Thunar VCS plugin, Fuse NTFS-3G, NTFS prog. So when I hit enter here, it's going to go through that, and they must have all been spelled right. I'm going to say yes, but get my mouse here. 462 packages. 462 packages to install. Installed is 5.29. That was close enough. I'm going to go back over here, press Y and hit enter, and the installation has now begun. And as you can know, this is going to take quite a while. Let me recapture my mouse, go back over to their website here. This is their web page, their home page, and when you come here, immediately you'll be presented with your download images at the top here. And there's quite a bit of information about, but it's pretty scattered, and by that I'll show you. Here's a command line cheat sheet that I found that I needed. Shut down the machine immediately and reboot. It shut down -R now. P now shuts it down. You can just halt shut the machine down and halt afterwards, but keep the power on. H, I didn't know that. Print working directory, I knew that. LS, copy a file, remove a file. That's pretty nice. All right. But when you go over here to the packages and you see this is categories of all the available software in NetBSD. And this is phenomenal. There's a lot of stuff in here. Let me just show you though. And there's no packages. So let me change that. Sometimes it's known as SSR. Change that. Maintainer user simple screen recorder. So you can get SSR. I was under the impression I couldn't get it from an earlier investigation. Talking about being scattered, and this is right on their document guide there at NetBSD. So it's approved. This is the handling the X system. Click on the Windows managers there, other Windows managers, and you go down, and it says you can add packages by going pkg_add --v and then whatever the software is. And that's completely different than the pkgin install, delete, search. So which one is right? Be honest with you, I don't know. Like here it said pkg_add -v Xfce4, and we did the same thing with just pkgin, and I'm not sure what the difference is in there. Like I said, it's scattered. I can't find what that means, that -v, and you just saw I used it in order to get those repos back up. So there's a lot of information, but it's really scattered and conflicting, I might say. You just saw me using pkgin, but they just showed you using pkg_add add -v. So which one of those, I don't know. I haven't been using the pkg_add, but so far everything seems to work with just the pkgin. Go back over here. I'm sure it's still downloading, and it is. I'm going to pause the video, and I'll be back. Okay, so it reached the point now where it's actually installing. It's gotten through downloading, which kind of surprised me. Been about maybe 8 minutes. Installing X screensaver. So as you can see by my list over here, though, you're going to need, like Thunar, if you got Xfce, you're going to need a file manager, and PCman FM is available, if I'm not mistaken, and it should have been in this list. But before I put it in the list, we'll boot up and we'll find out if I remember. First thing we got to do though is copy a file over to our Xfce which concerns our dbus. Perl, something to do with a mail. If we go back over to their cheat sheet, you can see this is how you remove packages. You can remove all packages. They even give you the commands for doing archives. That's pretty nice. It's pretty nice to have some actual usable command lines available, even though there's not a lot. There's more than just these: using user operation, package operation, advanced command line recipes. So that one's pretty extensive. Let's see, go over some of that stuff that I did install, either during the base install or now. Here, all of these will be in the description or as titles. This is that TDB that I just downloaded. That's a small database system which uses files to store data. Database is DB is a trivial database in concept, and looks like our installation is finished. Let me get back to the guide here and get back over here. I'm going to clear that screen. And the first thing we got to do, like I said, is copy /user pkg/share examples slash rc dot d slash dbus. We're going to copy that to slash Xfce rc dot d. If I got that right, then that should be done. Now, capture my mouse again. If we wanted, let's see, if we want to check that, if you just wanted to check it, you could, just to make sure it's in there. So we'll list that rc.d. It's the rc bus. There we go. You see it down at the bottom there. Actually, you see it several places. So Q to get out of here. Control L to clear the screen. So that we know that's done. Now, we could actually start that after we put this in our SSH8, but we got in our xcerc.conf file. And I'm going to page down, get to the bottom there. We're going to add the following 4 entries. dbus equals capital yes, enter. RPC bind that we just looked at equals yes. HAL, HAL equals yes. BAMD equals yes. All right. 4 entries, all spelled right. Control O to get me out of here. Enter to confirm, or write it out. X to get out. Control L to get out. Now we could start the dbus right now, just going Xfce rc.d dbus. We're going to start that service. And we should get this starting the dbus. So let me get back over here. We just did that to our rc.conf. We just started our dbus. Now we need to nano.xinit rc. And in this folder, we're going to say Xfce4 -session. And then we're going to close out and save it. Control L. Now we're going to nano or .x session. And in here, we're going to put exec start Xfce4. All right, Control O to write it out. Enter to save or confirm. Control X, get out of here. Control L. All right, now we need to get into, so we're in our home directory, so we're going to cd into /root. Hit enter. And here we're going to run capital X, or X, that's right, -configure. This will configure our X11 files. All right, ls. So now you see in ls we have a folder called xorg.conf/new. And we are going to move that file. So we're going to move. Yeah, that's right. Move xorg.conf.new. And we're going to move it to xorg.conf. Right, that got moved. Now at this point we could sign right into our Xfce desktop, but I like to just reboot, and that way I get everything going. And here's the reboot command: shut down -R, and now. And I've already moved the hard drive up first. The ISO is still there. Probably go ahead and get that out when it starts to reboot here. Move that, get that out of the picture. Go back into Control C, scaled mode. Now, when this starts up, we're going to log in as our user. and then type in start X. If everything works like I thought it does, we should start in our Xfce4 desktop. But you did notice that this is Xfce4, and I believe that's their latest. So let me log in. Start X. And let me get out of scaled mode here. There's our beautiful Xfce desktop. Let's see if we can do anything about the resolution right off the bat. So that would be under settings, display. And we have, without installing the VM drivers, we have our choices. So I'm going to apply that. 16:9, say keep it, close. Get out of this for a second. This over. Come back to this, my guide. Now, at this point, we did download sudo and it's installed. It just can't be used. So we can either type in sudo and edit the sudoers file that way, or we can nano into it through user package etc or etc sudoers. And the command line to add yourself to groups here. So let me do this one at a time. Get this over a little bit more. Just leave it right there. Let's go to the groups first. Let me bring up a terminal. And like I said, we got a command line that we could use. And this usermod -g group name username, or I found this way to be a lot easier. So I'm going to sign in as root since I don't have sudo privileges yet. And now I'm going to say nano etc group. Hit enter. And at the top, you can see wheel. Underneath that, in Arch, I would make myself a member of this group system, but I'm going to put myself in the operator group here, and I'm going to use a comma in between, no space, just a comma. Go down, and I like to put myself in games again for no real reason. And then we're looking for staff. There it is, separated by a comma. I believe that's it. Users. I'll go ahead and put myself in that group, even though I know it handles users and groups differently than Linux. So Control O to write it out, enter to confirm, Control X to get out of there. Now, groups, Dennis. So now we're in the user group, wheel group, operator group, games group, and staff. So that is a lot easier than typing out that command 5 different times. All right, so let's go ahead. We're already in root or super user account. I'm going to type in sudo. Go down here just under root, and I'm going to hit the I key. That should allow me to insert, and it does. Dennis space capital ALL equals in parentheses ALL in parentheses space ALL and enter. Now to get out of here, we're going to press escape, colon, right, and quit, WQ. Hit enter, and there we go. Let me get out of this, bring up another one. And really, the first thing you should do, which I didn't do, but we're going to say pkgn update. It'll ask me for my password and use sudo to run it. Do the same thing again, except this time upgrade. And there's nothing to do. What was it I said I was going to look to see if it was available? Can't remember. I'll have to watch the video. So let's look at our menu. We're going to leave this open. And let's go accessories. Let's see what we got. Calculator that I asked for. Mouse pad that comes in. Screenshot. Task manager, which we asked for. We had to. Thunar file manager, which we had to get. Xf burn, we had to ask for. Xarchiver came in on its own through the extras or the goodies. Education, we got Libre Math. Here's the game I was talking about, KPAT. Graphics, we got LibreOffice Draw, we got the Ristretto image viewer. Internet, we got Qubit Torrent, and that's supposed to be Firefox. Xfce4 Firefox. Oh, pay attention to what I'm doing. It's got to know what to do with it. Install it. Nothing to do. So it is here. See, not under internet. That's another puzzle I'm gonna have to figure out. We definitely have it. Right there it is. Why it's not in the menu, don't know. In the Whisker menu, which we downloaded and installed, it should be there. So we do have Firefox, the nightly build. Now I didn't ask for it specifically, but that's what it gave me. All right, the nightly build 86.0.1. That's Firefox. Closing tabs and don't warn me again. Thank you. All right, now what else do we have? Multimedia, we had Audacious, which we asked for. Audio mixer, Beat Media Player, K3B, VLC. Under Office, we got the full suite of LibreOffice. Under System, we have Task Manager and Thunar that we asked for. There's LibreOffice. See what we got here. LibreOffice version 7.1.12. I think that's at least close to the latest. And there's Audacious. Now, let me get my mouse back. Go talk about sounds for a second here. Sound. Took me a while. Do that over. This over. We'll clear the thing here. We're going to say audio CFG test 0. And you should hear this. All right. Now I'm going to change the volume level by Xfce4 Xfce4 -W output. And you'll have to experiment with what level works for you. But for me, it was 200. Now we'll run that same test. Clearly hear a difference. But that's for sound. Now, if you want to make these permanent, rc.conf, or I'm sorry, mixer settings, you want to load Xfce4 to rc.conf. Then here in the Xfce4 file, you'll put your outputs. Mine was 200, and this is for if you got headphones. And come back into here, put a hash mark on it, and then untick it, as they would say. Close that, save that. All right, so oops, let me get back over here. Let's open up Firefox again. And let's go to YouTube. Not now. All right, so we go to YouTube. I'm going to click on here, see what we got.
Grammarly helps make your writing clear and concise.
It's playing the video. Not only that, but we got good sound. So that worked. Very nice. Go ahead and let's see what we can do here. Panel. Preferences. Items. I'm going to get rid of, well, let's add a new item first. This is the old menu. Whisker menu. I'll say add. All right, then we can get rid of, close that. Get rid of this one. Minus. Yep, remove it, please. Take it up. Say okay, close. Properties. Category name. Tooltips. Nope. Yep. Panel button. We want to use icon and title. NetBSD underscore Xfce4. If we got any icons, plenty of them. Just pick one to start with. Behavior. But parent. There's usually one that says adjust the size automatically, but I'm not seeing it. So it'd be something else I need to look into about what I need to get that installed. All right, and let's just see if we go to panel preferences, if that's any different. Well, it's adjusting automatically anyway. Number of rows. Okay, that's good. I think that's going to do it for this video. Control L, clear that screen. So sudo, since now I can use sudo. Shut down -P now. Yeah, that's NetBSD. Like I said, if you decide to use NetBSD, you need to have a specific reason why you need NetBSD. Generally speaking, from my impressions, that it's geared more toward internet type security stuff. It was specially made for servers, and for desktop users, maybe not so much. So anyway, that's Xfce on NetBSD 9.2. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on another video. Peace out. Bye.